Good morning. We're going to talk a little bit about presence. Presence. Do you know why I always have smoke? Partially because I just love it and it feels like home. But also because it forces me to be present. The elements have a way of asking us to be present with ourselves, right? Present with the experience, present with what they have to offer, so to speak, what they are bringing forward for us. And this conversation on presence comes forward because in my meditation, and in the vein of essential feminine, spirituality, sexuality, sisterhood, and motherhood, the motherhood component came forward. As I was thinking about someone that I love, and how, as a mother, or in the archetype of mother, in the energetics of motherhood, we maintain presence. We hold a certain kind of space. And the visual that came forward as I was feeling into this person and sinking in at the beginning of my meditation was, a mother standing still and watching softly, gently, lovingly, tentatively, as her toddler kind of like wanders off a little bit. And there's so much medicine in that visual because primarily the reverence and the love that we have for that little creature as they are toddling off, finding their way in the world. And although this person is a grown-ass man, it still evokes out of me. Yeah. It still evokes a feeling of, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stand still and you're going to do whatever you need to do. And it's not that I'm waiting around for this person necessarily, but I'm also not going out of my way to make some kind of fucking statement that doesn't need to be made. Because the thing about living from an essentially feminine standpoint, the thing about understanding ourselves as energetically based frequency beings, vibrational forms, is that we are working in collaboration with the universe, with all these other vibrational forms, with all of this other under the surface, under the radar music, this symphony of movement. And we're just playing our role. We're just playing our particular instrument, right? Like my body is my instrument. And that's actually initially where the meditation started, was sinking into feeling and loving, my body, like just being so thankful and grateful for the way in which she holds me and shows up and carries me through this experience. And that is an expression of motherhood as well, because motherhood is about holding space. Motherhood is about our presence. Our planet, our Mother Earth, holds us. Our body, our physical form, which in many cultures they speak to the body, the body of Christ, right? Like our physical form, that's our bread, that's our nourishment, that's our earth. There's a song that we used to sing when I was studying within the Mexica tradition, where it talked about, my bones are the earth. The earth are my bones. The water is my blood. The earth are my bones. The air is my breath, and the fire is my spirit. I'm not going to sing it right now because it's early and I'm not there yet. But presence, holding space, standing still, allowing in the 3D human form that person to go do whatever they have to do or be what they are in the moment. Even to say go do what they have to do, it's as if they are going somewhere and I'm, not. And that's the thing, is that we are always moving. We're always moving. We're always spiraling and orbiting in our space. And to be present with someone, first of all, does not require you to be in their physical proximity. To be present with someone requires us to have an ability of presence within ourselves, our ability to hold ourselves, our ability to maintain that space within ourselves. And then we are able to extend that to another person. And in reality, we really only know that we're able to extend that to another person or give that to another person. Let me rephrase that. We only know that we are able to do that for ourselves when we are able to genuinely do it for another person. And that's kind of the subtle, sort of back and forth dance. That's the involution and the evolution that is occurring at the same time, which is what makes the symbology of the infinity symbol so powerful, because there's involution and evolution happening at the same time. We don't know that we have something to give until we give it. Until that point, it's just like an idea. It's just a possibility. Until we actually come out and provide that space, provide that presence for a person, we don't know that we have that. And then in the knowing, oh shit, I just did that for that person, it anchors in and settles into our system. I am that. I can do that, and I am that. And then inherently we receive the gift of that. We receive the gift of giving, which that phrase in and of itself speaks to both the involution and the evolution. And so presence is our ability to be right where our feet are. Presence is our ability to accept the circumstances and the details of our life, and be at peace with them. Presence is, for me, attentiveness, awareness. There's so much in the world of self-actualization and introspective thought that says, I'm the creator of my own reality. I'm responsible only for myself. Everyone else's shit is their shit. I have no control over that. And that is correct. And it's not the only, that is true. It's not the only truth. There is a world that is in existence where we are self-contained, accountable, responsible to ourselves, and attentive to the experience of another person. Now, while we can't control, per se, another person's experience, and it can be a very seductive, option, a very tempting option to think that we can. It's an ego stroke for sure, to think that we have an impact on someone, or that we could influence a person's experience. While it is very tempting to think that, The overall truth is that we cannot. The other person can always say, no, thank you. I do not want to participate in what you are attempting to provide or offer or manipulate. I do want to say, though, that there also is truth in we can. We can. We have an impact on how the world works. We have an impact on how someone feels. We have an impact on, maybe let me be a little bit more discerning with my words. We have an impact on the circumstances that a person gets to choose from. We all have free will, so each person does have a choice, but we have an impact on the buffet of options from which they can choose. And that is an energetic alchemy thing that has to do with the space that we hold, the presence that we provide. You know, when we come at someone with a lot of aggression and like fire and like output, like there's a tendency that they're going to immediately like wall up or resist or like push back, you know. Their response may or may not, but the emphasis right now to prove this point or to illustrate this point may be different when we come at them with softness, availability, gentleness, eye contact, etc. Does that make sense? You know, it changes what they have to choose from. It's like a choose your own adventure novel. And the notion of being present allows everyone's edges to soften and therefore be more receptive, more available, better able to hear one another, better able to discern for themselves what their truth is, what they want, you know? When we are in a state of reactivity, which is so often what living from a space of trauma or wounding, aka fight or flight, when we fight, flight, or freeze, that's another important one. When we are in a state of reactivity, coming from that fight, flight, or freeze place, we're not actually operating from our essential self, from our truest self. We're operating in a state of drama. We're operating in a state of like emergency, you know, like there's a particular word or phrase I'm looking for, like sort of triage, you know. We're operating from a state of like emotional triage. And that's cool. It happens. You know, we've all been there. We all will continue to be there. Like, you know, there's no judgment, no big shakes, but like, there's more, you know, there's a greater peace that is available to us. But we need to slow our roll and practice presence with ourselves, sitting in silence, meditation, attentiveness to our body. Like I just scratched my neck and now there's this big red thing here. Attentiveness to our body, to our form, because that is what will help us be more attentive and present to each other, with each other, for each other. And, you know, I'm sorry, I'm a total yes to being accountable to self. But I also want to be accountable to my people. And you are my people. The people I love are my people. The people that cross my path are my people. You know, there's some phrasing out there in the world. There's like a mantra: find your tribe and love them hard. Okay. Except that all of humanity is my tribe. So I'm going to love all of you guys really hard. And because we're all in this together, I'm accountable to you. My actions impact you. My actions impact the choices that you have to make in your life. And that's no small fucking task. Like, that's no small charge. That's no small reality. And it's something that I take very personally, which again can be a really tricky space because the goal is to not take it personally and also take it very personally, you know? So maybe we want to phrase it as, don't take it personally in terms of it impacting or changing your inherent value, but take it personally by way of being attentive to what has been presented to you. This person has been presented to you. This set of circumstances has been presented to you. This emotional state has been presented to you. Be attentive to that. You are responsible. We are responsible. I am responsible for what has been given to me. And when a person shows up in my life, I am responsible for that experience. I am responsible to exist in that container in a sacred way, in a holy way, in a good way. So in that way, being a good mom, embodying the archetype of mother, whether I have human children or not, whether I am a woman or not, whether I identify as anything of any kind, the frequency of motherhood, the archetype of motherhood holds a really particular role in terms of the presence, the space holding, the tenderness, the self-care, the love for our body. All of that is wrapped up in the expression of motherhood. And so when we talk about presence, be a good mom. Be a good mom, and allow that to translate to be a good steward of your gifts. Motherhood is about being that channel, right? The vessel. Something is coming in, I'm holding it, I'm gestating with it, and then I'm delivering it, I'm bringing it forward. Do that job well. Be a good steward of your gifts. The gift that was given to you in this person in front of you, the gift that was given to you in this job opportunity that you have, the gift that was given to you in this planet, in this time and space, with our current climate, socially, politically, financially, environmentally. Be a good steward of what has been given to you. Don't take that job lightly. That doesn't mean you have to be all melodramatic and melancholy all the time. But sometimes if that's what's coming forward, be a good steward of that gift, those emotions. Be present. Slow down and be present. Settle. Settle, settle, settle. I want to say eye contact, and immediately that makes me think of one of my grandmas who shared with me that in their culture, they were always taught that it's actually more respectful to not make eye contact, I believe is how she worded it, just to kind of like have some reverence and kind of look down or look away. And so I don't want to, harp on the eye contact, other than to say that the metaphysical meaning of eye contact is presence. The metaphysical meaning for me is like, I see you. I see you. And I don't have to look at you with my physical eyes or from eye to eye to see you. I see you here. I feel you and I know you here, which that in and of itself speaks to and feeds into presence. And that brings me back to this beautiful man that I love, that it's like, okay, you are where you are. I am where I am. That changes nothing about how I feel about you. It changes nothing about whatever journey we're going to walk, individually, collectively, because there's a whole universal order. There's that whole symphony of music playing right now, the movement of it all. And so am I being attentive to the movement of those energetics and those frequencies? That's the question to ask yourself. That's what will provide some inner conversation and provoked thought around our ability to be present with one another, with ourselves, and as always, remembering that it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. The way I love you is the way that I love me. The way that I'm present with myself is the way that I'm present with you. So, thanks. Love you.